Hello, welcome to Solo Strategic Playthroughs. My name is Jeff, and today I am continuing my Gloomhaven 2nd Edition campaign following the adventures of the Gloomaniacs. Session number 24. We are continuing not with the main campaign this time around, but a personal quest, as there have been some interesting things happening to Rita the Music Note class. But before we get into that, we do need to finish up the city event from last time, where we went on a little side quest to get some plunder and treasure, and boy did we get a lot of treasure. So I'm going to go ahead and spend some of that. Let's jump right into the city phase. So thematically, this felt kind of appropriate, as just having seen Hilo go off and go to the city council, and his first concern being to improve the stinking market. Well, we were walking through the market when we saw a tax collector having some trouble collecting taxes to improve the stinking market. And, well, we want to support Hilo, our good friend, in his cause, so the crew decided to go ahead and help with the tax collection, much to the chagrin of the person who was having taxes collected from. But the benefit of that is did gain some alliance with the merchant faction and also a little bit of gold. First thing, now that we've done the city event, just going back to the last scenario, I had looted a treasure tile, and in that we had found an alchemist's book, as it turns out, telling us about a place where we could potentially harvest a very rare and valuable herb. So that is a new side scenario we've got, Windswept Highlands. And perhaps we'll check that out at some point in the future, not this go around. Now, looking at my campaign sheet, I've already marked some stuff off. I've marked off the imbuement. We're still a couple away from there, from the next tier. Everyone is going to donate to the Great Oak. So I've already marked that off and gotten another prosperity tick. So we are very close to prosperity level 4, or 5, which I have a feeling is going to happen anyway. This may be the last scenario for Rita the Soothsinger. Speaking of which, one other thing I forgot to do that I took care of is shuffle a couple of city events in, having unlocked the Sunkeeper class. And you can see that's down there, a reminder at the bottom of the campaign sheet. So with my last retirement, I didn't bother with the retiring events. It told me to ignore those with the politics, had me put in different ones instead, but you do the events for the class you unlocked, so I took care of that. You can see here I've also marked off the reputation gain with the merchant, so back up to 6, although our focus is going to continue to be the city guard, perhaps next scenario, but for now, let's go ahead and take a look at the characters. We'll start things off with the Brain, the Harrower Plague Herald, who did get a level up to level 6. Also gave him a couple of the gold from the city event. The rest of that going to Rita. We'll get to her in a moment. I decided I'm going to hold on to his gold. I did do 10 for the donation, but the rest, I know a very popular choice is to enhance Biting Gnats, though I do need, for +1 damage, I do need another 55 gold to do that, so I don't know if I'm going to get there before I retire, but I'll hold on to the gold nevertheless. Picked up 2 perks this time around, one from checkmarks, one from the level up. So first, just improve the deck a little bit, decided to take out a -1, upgrade it to a +1. And for his other perk, I decided to go ahead and take Winged Congregation and give him flight. I know that I've said that I didn't want him to have flight because I can run him into traps, but honestly, I've gotten myself into some trouble, especially now that the traps are up to 6 damage. So I think better off, if I want to get him down in health, just let him take an attack or 2. So he now has flight, and that should be fun to potentially put to use. So for his level up card, I was primarily looking at the level 6s, either Crippling Malady or Succumb to the Gift, and I was back and forth, and I was probably going to take Succumb to the Gift. I was thinking just because 5 attack, as you get to these more difficult enemies, having a nice strong attack is really useful, having the move 4. But ultimately, I decided to go with Crippling Malady. I mean, if I can get 3 play counters on an enemy, it's also a 5 attack. Not to mention, I get to attack other enemies as well. And that bottom ability seems like it could really be a lifesaver, just being able to lock down a whole bunch of enemies, prevent them from moving. So Crippling Malady is the choice. Next up is Katie KaBoom, the Volrath Sunkeeper, who did not pick up a level up yet. She'll be getting that next time. But she did pick up 2 perks from completing both of her masteries. So finish what I started in getting more sun generation into my deck and also improving it by taking out a -1. So that's perk number 1. For her other perk, I decided to start towards Shielding Light. It requires 2 check marks, or 2 perk marks, I should say. To get this one, I don't have that yet, but knowing that I'm going to level up, this way I'll be able to have it available for next scenario. I guess technically I don't have to spend anything right now, but yeah, I'll go ahead and spend it, and once I level up, I'll have this ability. For the merchant phase, I donated to the Great Oak and then decided to beef up her equipment and her armor, especially as she's now got a chainmail and a tower shield. So in a good position to prevent quite a bit of incoming damage. And again, she's already taken the perk so that she will not be affected by the negative ones. And finally, we come to Rita, who did not gain any perks, did not gain a level up. She was able to donate to the Great Oak and then spend a whopping 175 gold to play a wild enhancement. 175 because I played it on a level 2 card. So you can see here, I have enhanced Mobilizing Axiom, one of the Sunkeeper's cards. That way it'll stick around, should be very useful for the Sunkeeper. Now, normally you cannot buy enhancements for other characters, but that is a specifically noted ability for the personal quest, that I can, in that case, do it. So that certainly makes the most sense, since it's going to lead to her retirement, and we do want those benefits to stick around. I feel like this is one of her better attacks. Let her bless herself. And also with the wild, it can keep things going, generate sun to trigger the next round's attack. Or she can also generate night, and she's got an ability that lets her turn night into sun. So kind of chaining abilities. Thinking this should really come in handy. And one other quick note on this thing. At first, I was looking through trying to figure out which cards I could put this enhancement on. I was focused on the circle cards, and she does not have a lot of them. But then I double-checked the rules, and if it has the diamond symbol, which this card did, that can be a square or a diamond or a circle. So in this case, able to put an element there. So having put all this research into creating this element, a blending of potentially all the elements, Rita has unlocked something else within her. It turns out all this time she's been spending on her music has perhaps been a way to drown out the inner demon within her. Perhaps quite literally. This demon has been causing nightmares, causing potential destruction, at least in her mind. And so finally, she's done the research. She's figured out how to perform a ritual to bring this demon outside of her, this chaos demon, which corrupts the other elements, has corrupted her, and she can finish this and take it out once and for all. So she is going to take the group out. She's picked out a spot. We're going to summon forth various elements, this all in the setup, a pile of dirt, a candle, a block of ice. Do it at twilight, so it's between day and night. Get all the elements in there, bring forth this chaos demon, and of course all of its followers as well, and take it out. So we are not going to do this in the heart of Gloomhaven. We're going to head outside of town, which means it's time to head out and do a road event. So we are heading out to the spot Rita has picked out, and on the road, just off the side of the road along the way, we find a very upset traveler whose loyal companion, his beast of burden, is injured, and we have the option to either help him put the beast down or try and heal it. Well, given certainly there was some argument ensued among the Gloomaniacs. I think the brain certainly wanted to send this beast a gift of Zorn and send it back to death and let the maggots consume it. But Katie was pretty adamant the other way, and ultimately Rita's been having enough nightmares, so I think trying to heal it won out. And yeah, Katie was able to take care of that. And the benefit is quite good. Not only are all of my characters going to start the next scenario with safeguard in place, but they all get a check mark, which means Rita is going to get a perk, because I didn't expect she'd get another one since I figured she'll be retiring here, but that does happen immediately. You don't get to do the level up, but if something else gives you a check mark, gets you to that point, then you can go ahead and gain the benefit. So that's it. Here's Rita's perk. Thought about putting the 3 curses in, but even though, with Ode to the Gambler, that's not always so useful in letting me get through my deck, and that is the most important thing. So I did put in another one of these cards, which will let her grant an attack, and potentially granting it to her summon, Steely Dan, which definitely lets her get through her deck more quickly. All right, so here we are. Correction, we're not actually choosing this place to summon the demon. This is the place we have revealed the demon is hiding out inside a cave that we need to go into and encounter the demon, which is going to happen right here. This is a very interesting starting scenario. No doors here. Everything is revealed. I may shuffle around where I position my characters once I kind of go through everything, but there is the Chaos Demon, who has 84 health, and in order to win the scenario, we have to take down the Chaos Demon. Surrounding him are all manner of monsters. As you can see, we have Flame Demons, Earth Demons, Night Demons, Sun Demons, Wind, and Frost. So a little bit of everything. And why do I have these extra ones out here? Well, because there are going to be summons, potentially. Or spawns, actually, I guess. But some really funky rules with this scenario. Basically, the way it works out. Well, let's show you the special rules, of which there are many. First of all, very interesting, there's a scenario effect, which everyone starts with a wound. However, I'm pretty sure that since everyone starts with Safeguard, and that happened during the road event, that will prevent the wound. So that's a nice little boon. We are even, Safeguard is gone, but nobody has to be wounded. Now, let's talk about the Chaos Demon, or the Convergence Demon. 84 hit points, and we win the scenario by getting him down to 0. And every time we kill one of the other demons on the board, he will take 4 damage. So that's a start, but at some point we're going to have to damage him. Not always going to be able to do that, though, because at the start of every round, including the first round, I'm going to draw a random number tile from 1 to 6. That's going to correspond to a type of demon. Now, if those demons are in play, which they will be at the start, at least on round 1, then the Chaos Demon, the Convergence, will draw power from those demons and protection. I will not be able to deal any damage to him, and summons will not focus him. He can still be attacked, which is going to mess things up a bit with Rita, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Can't deal any damage other than the damage you deal from killing other demons. So in that case, probably going to want to focus your attention on the other enemies. However, once we've eliminated an enemy type, if that tile is drawn, then the demon will not act that round. And instead of drawing ability card, he will just spawn another demon of that type. But he will be vulnerable to regular attacks for that round. So that'll be the time to hopefully pounce on him. And then once you've gone through 6 rounds and you've drawn every token, you shuffle them all up and start the cycle anew. So let's take another look at the map. Like I said, you can see here there's a lot of different interesting elements, which may or may not come into play. Notably, there are 2 chests that I'll want to get to at some point. before I take out the demon, but that'll come much later. There's lava down here. I don't see myself heading down in that direction, having to deal with that. Thorns, which hazardous terrain, which deal 3 damage, so maybe I can work that in somehow. Interesting, some obstacles here. Difficult terrain, although the wind demons will fly over that. Right now, I'm kind of thinking, for the most part, I'm going to let the enemies come to me. I have ways of dealing range damage. I think the Plague Herald is certainly going to be able to deal with the Flame Demons down here. But at this point, I do need to deal out battle goals and decide which cards everybody's taking. All right, so now going through the individual characters, we'll start with the Plague Herald, who is going to be a recluse. Interesting. The last time I did this battle goal was my very first scenario. So it shouldn't be too hard for him to keep away from the others. Now just going through the cards he's taking. So Blistering Buboes and Path of the Pox are just kind of my automatic, even if I'm not going to be using that combo anytime soon. The top bottom, I like the other side of both cards as well, so I want those available. And then Biting Gnats and Wilt and Wither, my 2 main methods of spreading plague. And, of course, Crippling Malady, which I just picked up. Now, things get a little more interesting with the next 5 cards, which include some cards I don't usually bring. Festering Sores, that's certainly common. Rot Maggots, especially want to be able to make sure I can poison the boss once I can damage him. And Rabid Bite, mainly, again, here, I just want to have a lot of movement. As you'll see from the Sunkeeper, she probably will not have much movement, so I do want to be able to make sure I can get those chests. That'll help with that. And then some of the interesting ones. Comorbid Sting, I don't usually bring. I'm bringing this instead of Nightmarish Affliction. I think I need to be prepared for the long haul, so not going to be putting that into play for its bottom ability, and I do want to make sure I have other ways of spreading plague. And then Wretched Yield, which I have never used before, in part because of my battle goal, although I'm pretty sure I can just ignore the heal. I'll look that up when it matters. I don't have to heal myself, but there are a couple reasons I brought this. One, for movement. It gives me a move 4, so a little bit more flexibility if I need to run out and head back. And then the other is, at some point, I'm definitely going to get up to 3 plague counters on the boss, which makes this a 5 attack, which is really good for once I actually can damage him. So interested to see how that one works out. Now on to Katie and her battle goal. I ended up taking the Slowpoke. She actually had a couple of choices for double check marks. This seemed better. A little less urgent to get those check marks since she was able to pick one up during the road event. But early in her adventuring career, definitely want to keep her ahead of the curve. And I figure, for the most part, I'm just going to keep her stationed in the middle. Have the enemies come towards her, have her in a position to absorb attacks from the boss or attack the boss. So hopefully I can make this work out, and I can move her on other characters' turns, mobilizing measure, as long as I don't move her more than 2 there. It's just 2 a turn. So in terms of her cards, kind of the order I'm going through picking, first we'll start with, these are just all my really good attacks, along with my heals. So pretty straightforward to make sure I am well armed both offensively and defensively, and then it was just choosing the various tools and flexible options I want to bring. Now, it wasn't too hard to make choices for Katie, given that she's only got 4 cards she can't bring, and I'm not planning on ever doing more than a move 2. But speaking of that, I'm bringing defensive stance for the first time this time. Don't know if I'll use the bottom, although it won't hurt with the reduced movement so much. But also I think just having that stun ability available, since we're going to be camping out around the boss, there are going to be some big attacks. Things like the Night Demons are going to rush up here. Other abilities, I like Sanctify. I don't quite have the ability to put out Ward yet. That'll be in the next scenario. but I do like the idea of being able to bump up my allies' attack values. Same thing with Empowering Command, also looking for abilities to do attacks on the bottom once I am getting to a point where I can do damage to the boss. And then just more flexibility, Tactical Order, Brilliant Prayer, being able to get cards back and move people around should all come in handy. So that is Katie's suite. And for Rita, now that she's picked up her perk, the battle goal really doesn't matter. Not that it mattered much anyway, but took Insomniac. Not really going to worry about trying to complete it. In terms of her cards, so here I'll show you what she's going to do on round 1. And if you've been watching these other videos, you will notice a certain card missing, Dissonant Rhythm. That is going to be really hard to make work this game because unless she moves away from the boss, she's going to target the boss. And a lot of times that is going to be a fruitless attack. So instead, I'm going to go with Power Ballad as her 3-value note. And of course, I will be getting 3 songs into play the first turn, and then also being able to grant an ally some move and attack. So for her other 6 cards, I kind of went back and forth. I wasn't going to include Dissonant Rhythm because the difficulty of making it work, but then I do not have a lot of low initiative. A lot of that stuff was going to end up going into the songs that I hopefully am keeping in play. So ultimately, I did decide to put that in. I will plan on playing Thrilling solo in the next round, so I do want to have some other ways of having her do attacks. And then at some point, perhaps when the timing seems right, I will be able to get Dissonant Rhythm into play for the top ability. But in the meantime, bottom ability, not bad either. Generate a note and muddle 3 people. So that is going to be her set. And now I just need to get things ready for round 1, pick my cards, and off we go. All right, so again, here's the board situation for round 1. Just showing you the enemies down here that I'm about to cover up as I go through the cards. And what I'm going to be doing here in the first round is going very slow. Everyone is going to go on the lower initiative or slower initiative, and I want to make sure, of course, that Rita goes first since she's going to be putting Power Ballad into play. I want the others to be able to benefit to that, but I also want the enemies to be able to come to me, and then I will go ahead and engage them. So we'll see how it all works out. But Rita's going to be putting a bunch of songs into play. Katie is going to be getting off a nice attack. And other than that, probably just doing some generic movement. And then plenty of movement available for the Plague Herald. And then can throw out a bigger attack. I was kind of limited in my bottom abilities because there are other things I might have liked to do, but they were low initiative. So more important, I think, to let the enemies go, see what happens. And I feel like one of these enemy groups are not going to activate. And I guess that happens at the start of the round. So I would know that actually before I have to choose my cards. So it's not going to change anything, but let's see. It is going to be number 2. So number 2 means that the Frost Demon will be revealing a card, but will not be activating. Of course, as we said, the Chaos Demon, the Convergence, is going to be immune to any damage other than from demon deaths, and summons will not focus him. Doesn't change anything I was going to pick. What I was going to say before is I feel like between the Night Demons and the Sun Demon and the Earth Demons, I feel like somebody is going to get close enough that Katie can find a target. Not to mention, with Mobilizing Measure, she's effectively got 4 movement if she needs it. Now let's head over to X-Haven to see what everybody's doing. And you can see the Brain, who is immune to scenario effects, does get to keep his safeguard. The other 2 lost their safeguard to get rid of the wound. And so for the enemies, a lot of stuff going on. All right, Hasty Assault Night Demons. Definitely going quickly. So they're going to be going on 4, moving 5. So I think I'm probably going to have to take an attack from there. Wind Demon, not moving at all. The Convergence is stunned, so he's not doing anything this round. The Frost Demons, well, they're not activating anyway. They wouldn't be moving. Flame Demons are nothing special, but I think nothing special. At least one of them is probably going to be able to get in range of attack. So that is unfortunate. Or maybe not so much. Maybe we want people to take damage. I don't know. Finally, the Sun Demons moving 3 and attacking at range 3. So I think I might be able to avoid any damage from that. So, all right. And then we're going, and then finally, Boulder Throw by the Earth Demons, 4 attack, range 4. Although the good news is there is I might be able to get out of the way of that. All right, this is a lot. So let's just start working through it. All right, well, maybe I could have anticipated this started elsewhere, but then I would have put myself at risk from a different attack. Really can't win here. It is going to be a move 5, so this guy will go first, and the blue one is just a normal. I ran out of white bases. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No attack, but this guy will be able to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and he will attack Rita for 4. And that attack is going to be, it's going to be 4 damage and poison. That'll also generate night. There's going to be a lot of element activity going on. I'm actually going to just keep track of it in Xhaven. Maybe I can throw the elements somewhere on the board. I'll do that in a moment. For the Wind Demon, it is just going to heal itself. It's not going to move, so they're done. Next up is the Chaos Demon, who thankfully is stunned and not attacking. Next up are the Flame Demons, starting with this guy. 1, 2, 3, 4. Does not get in range. This guy, however, 1, 2, 3. I guess we'll put him here. And he will be in range, and he will attack the Sunkeeper. This going to be a 3 attack. And that is going to be a miss. Going late might not be working out so well for me. Next up is this guy, who is going to get in range and is going to be able to do a 5 attack at the Soothsinger. So let's see how that goes. Going to be +1, 6, plus another one from the poison. So a 7 attack, I'm going to have to lose a card. And actually that attack is with advantage, so even worse. It is going to be 12 damage. And I think I'm actually going to lose Pull the Strings here because there are no traps to move people into, just some terrain that I can't even affect the Flame Demons with. So that is unfortunate, but what are you going to do? Sun Demon's going to consume an element. I'll have it consume the fire to make light, keep the dark around, as hopefully I can use that next turn. We shall see. Rita's up, and this is definitely going to be a challenge, but hopefully we are up to the task. I am going to go ahead and play Symphonic Medley, putting those 3 songs into play: Mobilizing Measure, Power Ballad, and Ode to the Gambler, and then I will likely go ahead and get Steely Dan out. She'll gain an XP for that. I lose all my notes, but again, because of the perk, keep getting 1 back, so she will keep the bass note. And then I will go ahead and summon him into play right there so he can go ahead and start attacking. All right, so now I am going to use Ranger's Hood. Well, I'm going to use Call to Arms. I'm going to keep Steely Dan where he is. I'm going to look at the top 2 cards in my deck. It's either going to be a miss, so that's definitely going on the bottom, or +1. We'll put that on the bottom as well. Now, first card drawn is going to be a +1 for the attack. I am going to apply Ode to the Gambler, and advantage and disadvantage work the same way, where when you start with a rolling modifier, you do all the rolling modifiers, then you draw until you get 2 non-rolling. You compare those, take the worst, and apply all the rolling modifiers. So I will be getting an additional +1, also +1 from Power Ballad. So this is already at a 4 attack. Let's see, it is either going to be ×2, I guess not, or, well, okay, so this is interesting. This is, in this case, you can't strictly say which is better, because it's got an ability of indeterminate value. So in that case, in this case, when you're not sure, and disadvantage, you just use the first one. So unfortunate that I don't get to keep my songs in play, but very fortunate that with a ×2 on the 4 damage, that is going to be 8 damage. It's going to take out the Night Demon. End of turn effect, the only one that applies, mobilizing measure. I will go ahead and have Katie move over here. And that's going to be it for Rita's turn. Now Katie's up. Interesting decision here. First of all, I do think I will have her move just to put her in position to be able to deal with that guy. Not too worried about the loot right now. In terms of who she's going to attack, so she's facing against the Sun Demon just above her, or the Night Demon. I'm going to have her attack the Night Demon, and I'm actually going to flip things around from what I had originally intended to do. Don't need to generate an element. So I am instead going to do a Holy Strike. I will consume the Sun, and that will make it a 4 attack with advantage. Okay, so starting off with a 4 plus the Power Ballad is going to make it a base 5, and the first card is going to be a +1, and then I just have to decide, do I want to be a gambler? 6 damage is pretty good. There's a pretty good chance I could take that guy out next turn, and not a great chance that I would draw a card that would let me kill it. So yeah, I think I'm going to play it safe, not use Ode to the Gambler, just take the +1 for 6 damage. Oh, and let us not forget that when the Night Demon died, that is 4 damage to the Chaos Demon, the Convergence, so we are on our way. That's going to do it for Katie, and now the Earth Demons are up. And the Earth Demons are doing a range 4 boulder throw. Fortunately, they are not within range of anybody, and they're not moving, so that's it for them. Next up is the Plague Herald, and with Biting Gnats, he is going to be able to target both of these Flame Demons. Not likely to do a lot of damage, but more importantly is getting Plague on them, which will make them much easier to take out. I'll target the closer Flame Demon first, gain the benefit of Power Ballad and Ode to the Gambler, and that is going to be just a base 1 attack. Let's see what happens. Well, 2 with that. Okay, so not going to be any damage there. Might as well use Ode to the Gambler. Might get something useful. +1, so 3, no damage. But it is plagued, and it will be muddled. Now the attack against the other one, just a straight up 1 attack, 2 against 3 shield, no damage. Well, I thought about maybe doing some chicanery with my Cloak of Phasing, Scepter of Zorn, but I'm going to wait a little bit on that, even though it would be good to get curses into the enemy attack deck. I'd rather wait when I can make better use of the poison, when I know I'm going to be attacking enemies. So instead, I am just going to slide over 1. One other thing, in terms of the positioning of the Flame Demons, kind of thinking ahead to what I'm going to be doing next turn, and since I did have control over where they went, I ended up putting this guy, just moving him over 1 so that they are next to each other. That'll finish out the first round. Unfortunately, all of the songs will tick down for Rita, but she does gain 3 XP. First things first, round 2, let's find out who is not going to go. Flipping a token. It is 5, and that is going to be the Sun Demon. So I don't have to worry about from attack from there, and I can beat on that guy. All right, taking a little bit of risk this turn, but I do want to be able to move through my deck, and I also want to be able to do a lot of damage. So with Rita, I've got her going fast, which means she might take an attack from the boss. We'll see. If in a real emergency, I could move Steely Dan next to the boss to take the hit, but I'm hoping to be able to move Steely Dan up next to the Sun Demon, where Katie will be able to grant him an attack. And of course, she'll be attacking it as well. Plague Herald will be making sure the Flame Demons, as long as he goes fast enough, don't get any closer, and also taking one of them out. So now checking X-Haven, 5, 17, and 26, and nobody going before me, so and just really a question of how nasty it's going to be. Hopefully we can avoid the Wind Demons. Night Demon will hopefully be dead before he gets to go. A 5 attack from the Convergence is not good, so yeah, I may have to do something about that. Sun Demon not attacking this turn. Flame Demon just attacking adjacent, so no problem there. Too bad they're not going after the Frost Demons, who's just moving up but not going to attack anybody. And Earth Demons Also not going to be able to get in range of anybody. So really the big I have to worry about is the convergence. Well, before we make any decisions, let's start with Steely Dan, who is going to attack the guy standing next to him. With Power Ballad, it will be a 4 attack. Of course, a disadvantage against the Night Demon. First card is going to be a +2, and I will apply Ode to the Gambler just so I can move through more cards in my deck. I at least know the miss is on the bottom. So either going to be Strengthen an Ally +1 or a +1. Obviously, the straight up +1 is the worst card, so it's going to be that. It's going to be 6 damage, which will take out the Night Demon and also deal 4 damage to the Convergence. Now Rita's up, and I think I'm going to have to be a little bit more cautious than I was originally planning. I could be very aggressive here and get Thrilling Solo into play, get off a couple of attacks. It would help me move through my deck, but that's a big attack coming in. I don't want to lose another card. It's okay if songs go away. I used to play like that some time ago. So what I'm going to do instead, I can still get off an attack this turn. I'm going to use Thrilling Solo for the movement instead. Don't generate a note. But, because you can only have 2 base notes, I can go 1, 2, 3. I could go a little farther, get a little closer to the chest, but I feel like... yeah, let me do that. I'll just get a little bit closer. So move a 4th spot. And then I will go ahead. I do want to hold on to my notes, so I'm going to go ahead and use the other for just a basic 2 attack. With Ode to the Gambler, all right, it's a +1. I will definitely give that the modifier, so I am at a 3. Another +1, 4 damage. All right, one little change. I'm just going to actually move her back here. I've been hoping to use Mobilizing Measure to move Steely Dan into position. Unfortunately, obviously not going to be able to do that as Katie is closer. So at least have her end her turn next to Katie. Now, with the end of the turn, Mobilizing Measure kicks off, and I am not going to use it. I'm just going to leave everything where it is. Katie's up and also just realized I forgot to apply the effects of Power Ballad. So 1 more damage. That was actually 5 damage dealt to the Sun Demon. So we're off to a very good start there. I am now going to have Katie KaBoom go ahead and attack, and she is going to Consume the Dark to give herself +1 Muddle, which won't do anything since that'll just clear. But... although, no, they don't actually take a turn, so I guess it won't clear. They don't do anything. They draw a card, but it's not like they're stunned. The card is only for focus points. So, yeah, I guess the muddle will stick around if I haven't killed it. I will also get to generate light. So let's go ahead. That is going to be a 5 attack with the Power Ballad. And this is going to be... all right, just a 0, generate light... sure, let's gamble and add another +1 to it, so 6 damage. Then she'll go ahead and use Empowering Command to give Rita a 3 attack. Once again, this will benefit, all the effects are in play. Power Ballad, Ode to the Gambler, it's her first attack of this turn. So the first card is a ×2. So, yeah, no reason to Ode to the Gambler on that other than to try... oh, yeah, I don't have any... yeah, I should definitely do it because I don't have any misses to worry about. I do want to try and keep my songs into play, so we will go ahead and draw another card. Well, okay, that was not worth it. I mean, it's ×4. That's pretty cool, but I guess there was a reason not to draw it. So yeah, that's going to be 16 points of damage to the Sun Demon, which is very much going to kill it. Guess it's good that I did things in the order they did, so I was able to still generate light and do all that stuff, and take away the darkness. Oh, I guess it didn't matter. I killed the Night Demon. But anyway, with him dead, the boss takes another 4 damage. That will bring us to the Plague Herald, who is going to use Pendant of the Plague. Don't have anybody in range to poison, so just 1 target, but that target is going to be the Convergence, so that I can both put a curse in his deck and, more importantly, put a Plague token on him. I'll then use Path of the Pox to do 3 damage to this guy, taking him out, which is going to do 1 damage to this guy, knocking him down to 2. And then I will That'll do another 4 damage to the boss, so we're getting there. I will then be able to immobilize everybody with a plague token, which doesn't affect the flame demon who's not moving this turn, but it will prevent the chaos demon from moving. Next up are the wind demons, who are moving 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Not quite able to get the attack off at once, so he's safe. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. And they are flying, so I'll make sure that they bunch up a bit. And that is going to do it for them. Oh no, I was right about getting rid of the darkness and using it. It prevents the convergence from going invisible. He's going to attempt to move 3 and fail because of his immobilize, and then has nobody next to him to attack. Fire Demon is attacking all adjacent enemies, of which there are none. Sadly, no frost, but it's done. Speaking of frost, Frost Demon just moving 3. 1, 2, 3. Not in range to attack anything. So it's done. It will, however, now generate frost to go with the sun that's already out there, and moving right along. The Earth Demons just moving 1 and attacking everyone adjacent, so attacking no one. That is going to do it for them. That is going to do it for the round. All right, so as we go into round 3, just a couple corrections. I noted them in the edit with subtitles, but I've actually caught it now, having gone through the editing, that one of the things you also need to do at the beginning of the round when you draw randomly is infuse the matching element. So would have changed a little bit in that the first round I would have infused frost, and then that frost would have actually triggered, so the flame demons would have done a damage themselves. So this guy is at 1. Then the other element generated was sun. Doesn't change anything. That was going to be generated anyway. So that said, we can now see what it is going to be for this round, and that is a 1. So that is going to be the flame demons. So we'll go ahead and infuse fire. So we've got fire strong, sun, and frost waning, and here's what I'm thinking for this round. All right, so let's start with the brain, who is in a bit of peril with a bunch of enemies coming his way. I'm going to have him go as fast as possible, hopefully fast enough. You never know with the wind demons. Every now and then they can go super fast, but on 11, he is in good position to throw out a couple more plague counters, and importantly, he'll be able to kill off the flame demon, who's not acting this round, but it'd be nice to get him cleared out and potentially move to safety. Then on 27, I'll have Katie go. She, this round, rather than, I'm not sure she's going to be able to get in target anything. I do want her next to the boss to absorb any potential big attack coming in, so I will have her move on the earlier side. And like I said, don't know if I'm going to be able to attack anybody, so this seems a good opportunity to heal. Also, let Rita get a card back. She's only got 1 card in hand. So, and then for Rita, I'll have her go much later. And actually, I'm not even sure I've got flexibility which configuration of the cards I play. We'll see how things bear out, where everybody lands up. I've got my crew on 11, 27, and 91 for the enemies. Wind Demon is going pretty fast, but not so fast that I'm not going to be able to move a bit out of the way. Although, well, they're covering a lot of ground, so might still have to take an attack, although I could stun one of them. I'll have to think about what I want to do with that. Katie will go, then the Flame Demon, fortunately, will be dead by then, and not acting anyway. Chilled to the Bone from the Frost Demon, just moving 3, so yeah, should be able to avoid an attack there. And an Earthen Eruption for the Earth Demons, so yeah, not too bad. Not going to have to worry about their attack. Last but not least, going after Rita will be the Convergence, who is going to do a 3-attack muddle, and almost certainly going to be an element available for him to disarm somebody. We'll see how it goes. Player Herald's up first, and before I do anything else, this seems like a very good opportunity to use the Scepter of Zorn. I am in position where I can target both air demons, wind demons, and also this guy. Again, not able to damage him, but I can certainly key him up with some poison, not to mention 3 curses in the deck. Of course, with the safeguard, gaining poison, I gain the poison and then it's prevented. I'm pretty sure that's the way it works, so no more safeguard, and I'm not poisoned, but I do get to do the effect. So now I'm going to go ahead and attack some enemies. I'm going to go ahead and use Wilt and Wither on these 2 enemies that I've poisoned. Now, I've done a lot of kind of thinking about position. I could move all the way over here, get out of way of their attack. However, then they'll target Steely Dan. They'll both be able to get to Steely Dan. 3 attacks. If one of them is a +1, the other is a 0, that's going to kill him even with the shield. Don't want that to happen, so I'm going to have the Plague Herald take the attacks. In order to do that, I'm going to have to be a little closer, and they both have pull 1. So if I set things up that way and I get attacked by both of them, that is going to put me in range of the Frost Demon. Do not want to take that attack, which I can certainly avoid. So it's all a long way of saying I'm going to use my stun powder and stun one of them. I'm actually going to stun the first one, and, well, you will see why once we get to their turn. I am, however, going to go ahead and do the first attack on the one in the back. So with Wilt and Wither, it is a base 1 attack, +1 from the poison, puts up to 2. Power Ballad makes it a 3, and I will be able to use Ode to the Gambler. So right now I am at a 4, and yeah, let's draw another card. My deck is huge. So, okay, so that is 5 total against the shields. It's going to be 3 damage. Then go ahead and do just a 2 attack against the other guy, and I will use my powder to stun him. And it's a miss, but at least he's stunned. Wilt and Wither will then do damage to everyone for all their plague counters, so that will do 1 damage to each of these guys. No damage to the boss, who's protected, but 1 damage to the Flame Demon, which will take him out, and also deal 4 damage to the boss. Finally, with my 2 movement, I'm just going to scoot over here. That's going to put me equidistant along with Steely Dan, so that when the Wind Demon goes, he will target the Plague Herald, who has the lower initiative. Now the Wind Demon's up. It's only got to move 3 because of the Plague, but it doesn't matter. It's going to be able to get in range. I'm actually going to move it here, which will move it within range 3 of the Plague Herald. It'll then go ahead and attack, and that will be a 3 attack, and I'm just going to take care of the other stuff now, which is the pull, before I draw the card. I'm going to pull it 1 closer, so he'll end up here, and now let's see what the attack does. Base of 3 is, well, it's going to be a miss, so no damage. The other Wind Demon will just unstun, and they will infuse air. Now, Katie's up, and I will have her stick to the plan. She'll use a Soothing Light on Rita to get rid of her poison, and also let her get a card back. And I think just to make sure that she can go very fast next turn, that is going to be Echoing Aria. Katie gains an XP for that, consumes the sun, and now she's got 2 movement. So I'm going to get her up in the action. She actually won't be the target for the Night Demon, which is fine because it'll be the Plague Herald. He can be disarmed. No problem with that because he can do stuff that doesn't involve attacking next turn. For that matter, so could Katie, but I'd rather she be able to attack. So she is then able to bless an ally who's adjacent. So she will bless Steely Dan, putting a bless in Rita's deck. Flame Demons are no more, so now the Frost Demon doing Chilled to the Bone, just moving 3, so 1, 2, 3, not quite in range, just as I planned it. So, not able to attack, it will consume an element to generate frost. I'll actually have to consume the wind. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but I'm not so worried about the fire now, obviously, since there are no Flame Demons. Next up are the Earth Demons. This one's not going to move into the Thorns. He'll go around, which means he's not going to be able to attack just yet. This guy will also move, also not be able to attack. So still not a threat, but that may change next round. Rita's up next, which means Steely Dan's up next. And again, he will not focus the boss when he can't be damaged, so he will go after the Wind Demon instead. And this is going to be a nice attack. It's going to be a 3 plus 1 from the poison for 4, and the Power Ballad is going to make this a 5 attack. That is going to be a +1, and I mean, that'll kill it, but I'm going to use Ode to the Gambler just to try and keep those songs out, give myself my best chance. Okay, no, but I do get to strengthen an ally, which could come in really handy. Let me take the lay of the board and figure out who that's going to be. That is going to be enough damage to kill the Wind Demon, which will do another 4 damage to the boss. So I was thinking of granting attacks, especially to Steely Dan, but he's got no enemy adjacent to attack other than the boss, and he's also not within range 3. So I'm going to flip the cards around. I'm going to move and attack and curse. Just need to decide where I want to end up. All right, so I really want to attack this guy, try and work him down. This is a pretty big attack I've got coming in with all the bonuses. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my boots to turn my move 5 into a move 6. So I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Put myself there. And then I will go ahead and attack the guy in the back. So it's going to be a base 2 attack. Poison is 3. Power Ballad brings it up to 4. Oh, and I never mentioned who I was giving advantage to on Steely Dan's turn. I'm going to give it to Rita, so this attack will also be at advantage. So, base 4 attack. Ode to the Gambler. Definitely use it. So, I've already killed this thing. Let's see if we can draw something helpful. Yes, we can. Card, I was afraid I was going to lose Power Ballad, but no. So, either that or... and of course I ignore the rolling modifier. I mean, that'd be kind of fun, letting somebody move or attack, but no, I definitely want to keep my songs in play. So yeah, it's going to be 8 damage. Wow. Against 2 shields. It's actually just enough to kill it, and then I won't tick down my songs this turn. One downside there is because I killed it, I do not get to put a curse in the enemy deck, but that's okay. And I do gain a treble note for that. Last up for Rita's turn is Mobilizing Measure. I can give 2 movement to the brain. I do want to make sure that he ends his turn next to the demon. So I think that being the case, I am going to move him a little farther away over here. That does put him next to Katie, but she's almost certainly going to be moving on her turn. Last up is the Convergence, who with his Hungry Maw is going to go ahead and attack the brain. Just a 3 attack. So that is going to be another miss. The brain wants to take damage. Come on, save these misses for the bigger attacks, please. And yes, I did shuffle the curses in. I placed them in various spots in the deck. They just all seem to rise to the top. Oh, and I forgot the Earth Demons would have converted an element to Earth on their turn. I'll convert the Frost, and then that Earth will then be consumed by the Flame Demon, or sorry, the Convergence, the Chaos Demon, to disarm and also muddle the brain. Also, I keep forgetting to tick down this guy, who is now down to 56 from the 7 enemies we've killed. As you can see, only 3 more. I am going to eventually be able to do damage to him and have to do damage to him. But so far, we've definitely got things looking pretty good. Time to move on to round 4. And for this round, we will once again find out what is happening. That is going to be a 6. All right, so 6 is Night. So we will infuse Night, not to forget to do that. Now, since there are no Night Demons in play, he will be vulnerable this turn. He will not draw an ability card, but instead will act on one, and he will spawn a Night Demon. And I should say, the spawn happens at the start of the round regardless, so there's the Night Demon. It will get to draw a card along with the rest of them. So when playing with 2 players, all of the spawns would be normal. When playing with 3 players, you alternate starting with normal, elite, and then with 4 players, they're all elite. So we've got a normal Night Demon who, well, we'll see if he gets that hasty assault move 5 and jumps me again. Not much I can do about it. The brain is going pretty slow, but again, he does not mind taking some damage. We'll see what happens, but now I need to pick my cards. So for round 4, as I said, Rita going super fast, going to be able to get Dissonant Rhythm into play. Ironically, now I actually would want to target the boss, but also might be good to attack one of these other demons rounding on me, push them away. I'll certainly have some options, kind of can see what the enemies are doing before I make my decision. Katie, unfortunately, things didn't quite work out with element generation, but I do want to get in an attack while I can on the boss, so something a little bit better. So even though I'm not going to be able to consume the sun, I did throw up that attack. And then on the Plague Herald, he can't attack this turn. He's disarmed, but he can make somebody else attack, say the boss. Should be fun, and since he's susceptible to damage, should take some retaliate damage. So that is the plan. Let's see how things go. All right, so here we go. I'm just going to ignore, there are no cards in the Chaos Demon's discard pile, so whatever it draws, I can just shuffle back in. And let's see. Okay, so Frost Demon not attacking, so that's good. And there is fire, so it will damage itself. There's fire and night available. Ignore the card from the Convergence. Night Demon, nothing special. So moving 4, not 5, not going to be able to get within range. Earth Demon at the end. Moving 3, attacking 4. Oh, too bad I got rid of the wind. Should have kept that around. I mean, it's going to be hard to avoid some incoming attacks. We'll have to see. Or potentially I could I push them away? No. So yeah, I'm going to have to kind of look at how the board lays out and see where I want people to move. Rita's up first, which means Steely Dan is up first, and he is going to target the Convergence with a base 3 attack, +1 from the poison, +1 from Power Ballad. So we're at a 5. And that is going to be... all right, well, no need to use Ode to the Gambler. That is going to allow an ally to attack. So that's going to be really good. And we'll keep going, as it's also going to be a +1. So let's start off with 6 damage. And yeah, there's a bunch of ways I could go here. I could use the move 2 to reposition Rita, get her away from the Earth Demons. But I think giving a 2 attack to Katie is the best way to go, because I'll get the extra benefit from Power Ballad and Ode to the Gambler, plus the possibility that she draws a sun element, which she can then infuse, this being during Steely Dan's turn, would be available during her turn. So yeah, this is going to be a base 2 attack, +1 poison, +1 Power Ballad, so a 4 attack against the boss. Here we go. It's going to be a sun element. That is fantastic. And I will go ahead and use Ode to the Gambler, since I'm going to get the sun regardless. It's going to be a ×2, so we are rocking this scenario so far. That is going to be 8 more damage to the boss. Now, for Rita's turn, there are a few different ways I could do this. I think I am actually going to be hyper-aggressive, just try and unload as much damage as I can. I could avoid taking any damage from the 2 Earth Demons, but I'd rather get more damage in. I'm going to stay where I am, use Echoing Aria, and attack the boss. Actually, even before I do that, since I do have the necessary ingredients, I will go ahead and put Dissonant Rhythm into play using all my notes, then we'll fire off Echoing Aria. This will be a 3 attack with the poison and the Power Ballad, and going to stun the boss, which will definitely take effect because he is not acting. His initiative would have been on 1. And yeah, we'll Ode to the Gambler that one as well. No change there, but 3 more damage. End of turn, I'll use Mobilizing Measure, and I'm actually going to bring him down here, put him in the line of fire. my protector. And potentially I can also get Katie down there to take an attack as well. I can do some shenanigans with where I move the enemies. But then the last effect is to go ahead and use Dissonant Rhythm. This will be a 2 attack. Actually, yeah, no bonuses at this point. This is still the same turn. So just a 2 attack with 2 pierce. That doesn't matter. Against the Frost Demon, I am going to be able to push it, so I won't take any retaliate. And that is going to be 3 damage. One other thing, I am going to use the Master's Lute when I played my song. That way I can generate a bass note, put me in position to potentially play Thrilling Solo next turn. Next up is Katie, who will be able to fire off a fully powered hammer blow against the boss. So I will consume the light, making it a 4 attack with advantage. And again, with all the other boons, that will actually be a 6 attack once you've taken the poison and the power ballad. So it's an advantage. I guess I'm not going to Ode to Gambler that, but I'd like to see 2 more cards. So yeah, I guess I will go ahead and use Ode to the Gambler. So we've got a lovely rolling -1, but then I can choose between a 0 or a ×2. So wild. Yeah, so that's going to happen. I believe the times is the last thing that happens. So a 4 becomes, actually, it was a 6 attack, becomes a 5, becomes a 10. Now, I could throw out another attack. It would be a disadvantage, but for the first part, I feel like my luck might finally run out. But also, it's worth taking one of these hits so I can keep Steely Dan into play. That's even better damage output, having him around. So I will just use my 2, use a generic movement to move down here, and that'll do it for her turn. So I pushed the Frost Demon, not realizing he has movement anyway. He's just going to come right back to where he was. He'll shield up, and then he will consume the fire and do some damage to himself. And that's it for him. Night Demon's doing nothing special. He'll just make his way 2, 3, 4 towards the action and move the knight up to strong. And actually, I realized I did that a little bit out of order. That should have all happened before Katie. Would not have changed anything. The brain is up, using that oversized noggin of his to hatch a nefarious plan and spread some rabies while he's at it. Now, it's been a while since I looked this up. I think I have this right. So the situation is, yes, the boss is stunned. He can't perform abilities, but that is not the same as being controlled. So I'm pretty sure that I can still, if that's not the case, I could have just not stunned him. That, of course, anytime a modifier comes up, unless it has the exclamation point, it's optional. But I think I have this right. Either way, definitely going to make him go ahead. I'm going to give him advantage, which very timely to do when he's stunned. Then have him move 1 towards an enemy that does not have the plague, and then I will have him perform a 5 attack against the Frost Demon. Actually, reading it again, I do think that if he's stunned, he would not be able to attack, just like you can't make somebody move if they are immobilized. So I'm just going to opt not to stun him. I'd rather dole out some more damage. So this is going to be a 5 attack against the Frost Demon with advantage. That attack is going to be either a +1 or a miss. Well, that's too bad. It would have been nice if one of the Earth Demons had drawn that miss, but we'll take the +1 since it's at advantage. It's going to be 6 damage to the Earth Demon, and because it's elite, 3 retaliate damage back to the boss. Finally, I'm just going to have Plague Herald move 2 over here so he can grab some loot, and I mean, we're getting this guy down pretty fast. Gotta have my eye on the chest up top, so that is going to do it for the Plague Herald. Finally, the Earth Demon's up with their Reckless Charge. This guy's the lower number. He'll go first. I will have him move here as he is targeting Steely Dan. That'll ensure that the other guy goes after the Sunseeker. So now 4 attack incoming against Steely Dan. And that is going to be not a miss. 4 damage and poison. I will use the armor to take away 2 of that, so just 2 damage, knocking him down to 3 health. Then the other one will move up and attack Katie. Less worried about this one. It is going to be a 0, so 4 damage, and between her chainmail and her shield, she can prevent 3 of that. That'll do it for the round, but unfortunately, Katie's songs will tick down, which means Power Ballad going away. She's going to gain 2 XP. Last thing for the round, both Rita and the Brain taking short rests. Here are the cards they lost. They both had to take a point of damage, as I did not want to lose Power Ballad, which I actually think is the better play than Thrilling Solo for Rita, and it was Path of the Pox for the Plague Herald. Did not want to lose that. So, that said, the one other thing I'm going to do with Rita, of course, is I will use her earring to, since she can do that during a short rest, to get... I've got 4 items, so I'm going to have to decide which one not to get. I guess I should hold on to the Warden's robes, try and keep that guy alive, even though he's poisoned. I feel like I might need the boots for the extra movement, but yeah, I think I'll go that way and keep those 3. All right, round 5. Let's start off by seeing which element is in power this time. That is 4, and that is going to be the Earth Demons. So that is nice. They are not going to act this turn. We will generate Earth, however, and the boss is going to get to go with his muddled and strengthened counterbalancing each other. What's really interesting now is I know that there's only 1 token left. It is wind, which means next round I am going to be able to attack the boss. So I feel like at this point I should kind of really plan things out, thinking about just doing as much damage as possible. I might be able to take him out next round, which is pretty crazy with the way I've been drawing. So a lot of stuff to factor in as I choose my cards for this round. Baseball opening day, and batter up, as I am going to be able... I think I'm going to be able to end this scenario pretty quickly. I might have to slow play a bit taking out the boss, just so I can get both chests. But I have a lot of options, and ultimately where I decided to go, get Power Ballad into play, and really so many choices with the Plague Herald, so many ridiculous cards available. I'm just going to get lots of Plague out, because that's always fun. I realized I haven't even used Zord's Propagation yet. So lots of good stuff. Setting Katie up where she can do a double stun. And just going to have to manipulate some things around, but should work out pretty well. Of course, as always, let's see when the enemies are going and how they might screw it up. So here we go. For the enemies in round 5. All going after me. That is great news. The Night Demon. That's it. Just a 3 attack. I was hoping he'd hit a little bit harder. Maybe he'll draw at times 2. My luck, he'll probably draw a miss. Earth Demon, not going this round, but that is useful for their focus. The Convergence. Well, that's a lot of elements. So generating everything and doing an attack. Frost Demon looking for 2 targets. With any luck, Frost Demon will be dead long before that happens. So, yeah, let's see how it goes. Rita and Steely Dan at the top of the round. Steely Dan going to ignore the boss this round since he's immune to damage. Therefore, will target the Earth Demon right in front of him. Unfortunately, don't have Power Ballad in play yet, so this is just going to be the base 3 attack. Before the attack, I am going to go ahead and use the Ranger's Hood so I can look at the top 2 cards. And first one, yeah, that's really good. +1 Strength and Ally. I'm less worried about keeping my songs into play at this point, so because I'm pretty well set up for next round. So I am going to keep that. And then also a +1. Yeah, you know what? I don't really want to draw necessarily into the miss, so I'm going to let both of those cards stay on top. And so first card is going to be the +1. We will use Ode to the Gambler to keep that around. So what was base 3 attack now becomes 4, and then a 5. That'll bring the Earth Demon down to 10. Now Rita's up. She will pile on using Echoing Aria to also attack the Earth Demon. Well, pile on. It's just going to be a 1 attack, but more importantly, going to generate the treble note she needs. So with that 1 attack, it will be at advantage, either going to be a 0 or a +2. All right, so 3 more damage. And actually, no reason not to use Ode to the Gambler. I can only use it on the first attack. So actually, so 0 is the modifier, and then either a +2 or keep my songs in play. Yeah, well, that'll keep Ode to the Gambler around. So it's a question of whether or not I want to do the extra damage. Yeah, I think it's better to have Ode to the Gambler up next turn. So I'll just do 1 damage to the Earth Demon. Then with the treble note she just generated, I will have her go ahead and put Power Ballad back into play. So that's up and running, ready to go, and now I can go to end of turn effects. First up, the Dissonant Rhythm. I can choose between the boss or the Frost Demon. Obviously the Frost Demon, since I cannot damage the boss. Again, this attack at advantage is going to be keep my songs in play. I should have gone with the +2, or well, a stun. Okay, I was going to have Rita stun him, but sure, we can do it that way too. I will go ahead and choose that as a result. That is going to be 2 damage, and I will push him 1 away, which is going to help me do a couple of things. But most importantly, not take any retaliate damage. With Mobilizing Measure, I want to make sure that Steely Dan is next to the boss next turn, so I'll just move him 1 over here, and that will do it for her turn. Next up is the Plague Herald. First thing I'll have him do is Path of the Pox. We'll start with this guy going 4 away, he's within 4, then the next guy who's within 3, jumping up to the boss who's within 2, and then over to the Frost Demon who's within 1. Now, we don't want the Night Demon to feel left out, so with Wilt and Wither, I will target the Night Demon. I had disadvantage anyway, and the other attack will be against the Frost Demon. And I will do the first attack against the Frost Demon, since that's got all the benefits, Ode to the Gambler, Power Ballad, and my attack against the Frost Demon, or I should say the Night Demon, is at disadvantage. So here we go. Against the Frost Demon, this is going to be a 2 attack, and the first card, well, it's already a rolling modifier, so Ode to the Gambler doesn't really matter, but I am going to be able to poison the Frost Demon after that, so that's good. I could also poison an enemy within 2, boss already poisoned, so we are at 2, another rolling modifier, more poison, too bad I can't take advantage of that, another stun. So yeah, that's 3 more damage and stun. Now the attack against the Night Demon at disadvantage, either going to be a +1 or a +1. Everything's coming up Millhouse. Then finally, from Wilt and Wither, all the enemies are going to take damage equal to the number of plague counters they've got. The boss will not take any because he is immune to damage this round. This is going to be a nice spread, though, as I do 1, 1, 1, and 3 damage to the Frost Demon, bringing it down to 1. Well, next up is Katie, and I was going to go after the Frost Demon, but I think the Plague Herald's going to be able to take care of that. So instead, she'll stick around. She's just going to slide over 1 so that she can get next to the boss. And she will use the full ability to do that. So she got the move 5. Just going to move 1, then she can go ahead and stun the boss. And what is the convergence? It is the number of negative effects that we are placing on this enemy. I guess it's also got a positive effect. Too bad the Mind Thief's not here. Wonder how she's doing. Perhaps we'll find out next city phase. But in the meantime, that's the first card. Then I'll go ahead and attack the demon right in front of me. 1 attack with stun. And this will gain the benefit of Power Ballad, so actually going to be a 2 attack. Sure, we'll Ode to the Gambler on that, bumping it up to no more, just 2 damage. Time for the enemies. The Night Demon will be up first, and it will target the brain. Going to be a 3 attack. It doesn't need to move. And yes, okay, so there's some damage. 3 damage to the brain, and then it will go into darkness and consume the dark to disappear. Next would be the Earth Demons, but they are skipped over. So since they're not taking a turn, the stun will remain. And stun galore, as now the Convergence is up, and actually he is not going to generate all the elements because he's stunned, not taking any action. And last but not least, let the stun train continue, as the Frost Demon will also do nothing. That is going to do it for all the characters. Now, end of round, I am going to have Katie take a short rest. She is going to lose defensive stance, and that's fine. Start of the round, obviously the last token left is number 3. That's the Wind Demon, so that will summon, this time, an Elite over there. That'll generate wind, and also means the boss will not act. What's the plan for today? Same thing we do every day. Try and take over the world, or maybe just kill the boss. We don't want to kill him yet, so just going to try and... But I'm going to do a lot of damage to him. And to the other demons as well. So, I mean, we've got... Rita is going to be able to start moving towards the treasure chest over here, and also grant an attack. Not to mention, she'll also have her Dissonant Rhythm attack. Plague Herald's going to be able to get to use the top card of his shiny new toy, attack a couple of enemies, also get into a card to play to deal damage to everybody. And Rita is going to be able to get off 2 very large attacks. So I just have to decide who's going to attack where, how it's all going to work out. Let's see what the enemies are doing. 26, 27, 55 for us, and for the enemies, well, the Night Demon and the Wind Demon are both going fast. And later on down the road, the Frost Demon, who certainly is not going to be alive when that comes, and the Convergence, doing a big attack with push. Finally, the Earth Demons also doing a big attack. Okay, well... we will work through it and see where things are at. We'll start with the Night Demon, who is going to feed on the brain. The brain loves that. He says, here's what would be my neck if I were not a pile of bugs. Feed away. And so that attack going to be a 4. -1 is 3 damage. That'll work. And if for some reason this is the video you happen to jump in on and wonder why does the brain want to take damage so much, it is because of his personal goal. In service of the Blood God, he wants to end the scenario at half health or less. So he needs to be down to 5. Mission accomplished. Just need to make sure now he doesn't die. But I have so many cards I can exhaust, and next turn he's going to be noping out of there anyway. No allies are adjacent to damage, but he will consume an element to generate night, and you would think having all of the demons available could be a very bad thing, and I guess you could have bad luck, but these wilds definitely work to your benefit, because since I get to choose, I can get rid of the earth so that it won't be available for the boss, and that will generate night. Next up is the Wind Demon, just off the frame, which fortunately, it's only got 4 movement, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's a range 3 attack, but the nearest enemy, or nearest ally for me, but enemy for it is range 4, so no attack. It will not generate wind, because that's already been generated. Now the brain is up, and he will start things off with a Crippling Malady. And the first target is going to be against the boss. This would be a 2 attack. Poison makes it 3, Parallel makes it 4, and Plague counters bump it up to a 6 attack. With Ode to the Gambler if I want, but let's see. That is going to be 7 damage, and even though my deck is huge, I do not want to roll into a miss, so I'll just take the 7 damage. That's going to bring the boss down to 19. He'll get an XP. He does have one more target, and And actually, the Night Demon has gone and is no longer invisible, but there's no reason for me to target the Night Demon. It almost doesn't matter. Like, I'm doling out so much damage, so many different ways. I guess what I'll do is I'll go ahead and target the Earth Demon. So this one, base 2, +1 for the plague counter, so a 3 attack is going... Well, he was already stunned, but it's going to be 4 damage, bringing him down to 2. Then I'll go ahead and put Rot Maggots into play, which will cause all of the enemies, except the Wind Demon, to take damage. That is going to bring this guy down to 4, this guy down to 13, him down to 1, the boss down to 17, and last but not least, it will kill this guy. Which then raises the question, well, that's going to do 4 damage to the boss, and then the question is, do I want to activate that enemy and have him attack somebody? Maybe. Let me take a look. Yeah, so you know what? I am going to go ahead and use Zorn's Propagation to take control of him before he dies. So he will go ahead and move here. Of course, we want everyone to enjoy the gift of Zorn and be plagued. So this way he will do a 3 attack with 3 pierce against the Wind Demon. And just popping that up on screen to show you, right? You with the Zorn's Propagation, you do all the abilities on the card. So the movement, now the attack 3. And this is going to be ×2. So glad to do that against the enemy and not against me. My luck this game has been ridiculous. 6 damage to the elite Wind Demon. And on top of that, it is plagued. And then finally, it'll drop its loot on top of the rubble pile. So we'll try and fix that. And that's going to do it for the Plague Herald's turn. Next up, Rita and company, where Steely Dan will go ahead and attack the boss. Going to be with Power Ballad and Poison, a 5 attack. And +1, strengthen an ally. Yeah, good enough. I don't want to miss. It doesn't even really matter if I miss, but I will not use Ode the Gambler. I'll just take the 6 damage. And actually, the boss should be 2 health lower. When I was adjusting things, I forgot to mark down the 2 damage he took for Rot Maggots. Now I'm actually going to have to be cautious not to kill this thing before the end of the round, because every time I kill a demon, that's 4 more damage. So I'm in a position right now where I'm just going to be able to insta-kill demons next turn using Blistering Buboes. So I'll just have to be judicious in how I do my attacks as we go into Rita's turn. All right, so now for Rita, she will use Call to Action, and will actually give Katie movement up around to here, so that she's really in a position to loot more than anything else. And then I can go ahead and give her a 2 attack against the boss, but honestly at this point, I don't want to hit the boss anymore, so I'm not going to attack. With her movement, I'll have her start heading towards the treasure. So she will go 1, 2, 3, 4, and end up over there. She will generate a base note, and that'll be the end of her main turn. And I could fire off an attack with Dissonant Rhythm at the Wind Demon, but honestly, at this point, the boss is ready to die. I want to let Katie get off 1 more attack to get some XP, so I will pass on the Dissonant Rhythm attack. And then last but not least, Mobilizing Measure, also targeting Katie. She's good where she is, so not going to move her. That is the end of Rita's turn. All right, 1 adjustment as I go into Katie's turn. I realize if I move her 3, that will kill her battle goal of Slowpoke, so I'll just move her 2 to here. That'll put her in position still to get a couple of coins. Now it's Katie's turn, and I could attack the boss. I have advantage, so just to get XP, but the problem is with the Power Ballad and the Poison, it's actually a 6 attack. So if I draw 2 +1s or better, very possible, that'll end the scenario. Don't want to do that, so I'm not going to attack. I'm just going to loot, grab a couple coins, and she'll strengthen herself. Of course, forgot the convergence is skipped. Shouldn't have even drawn that card. It doesn't really matter. Now the Earth Demon is up. It is going to move 1 and attack 5. That guy's stunned, so nothing. He'll move up and take a shot at Steely Dan as we once again see, can our luck continue? Will I draw a curse? And the answer is... and yeah, no. So even with the -1, there is the poison, so it's a 5 attack. Even the Warden's Robes cannot save Steely Dan. You served us well. He is no more. That'll do it for the round. Rita's songs will tick down. She'll gain 1 XP. A couple of songs go away into the discard pile. Then a short rest, and she will lose call to action. Going into round 7, we are ready to finish things off. I will just draw a random one, a 2. That is Frost, so that will summon a non-elite Frost Demon, this time over there. Of course, we'll tick down some of these elements, and now we can go ahead. The enemy is vulnerable again, although there's just going to be so much death this round. Actually, again, sticking to the adage that loot is more valuable than experience, I am going to go ahead and take a short rest for Katie, just kind of backtracking, and end up losing that so that I have my loot card. Round 7, ready to close it out. With Blistering Buboes, I am going to be able to do a stupid amount of damage. Not to mention, I've still got Rot Maggots in play. That's going to do damage to everybody. So I think I might be able to take out everything on the board except for the Frost Demon with a little bit of help from my friends. We shall see. For Rita, she's going to be going first. Get mobilized. She'll move to the treasure chest. She'll get Mobilizing Measure into play to maneuver Katie into a good looting position. Katie should be able to get off 1 more attack, as well as do the looting. And the Plague Herald going to be able to do some big movement, take advantage of that flight to get to the other chest. Let's check out the enemies and then mop it up. Going pretty fast. 8, 14, and 23 for the enemies. Night Demon going to get in 1 last attack for good measure. Convergence will be dead by then. Wind Demon will be dead. Earth Demons, one of them might be alive. Frost Demon, we'll see. So now we will get into it. The Night Demon will start with the Hasty Assault, a 4 attack on the Plague Herald. Is going to be 5 damage. That's a little bit too much for the Plague Herald, so I'll just have him lose a card. No Steely Dan to go, so we'll just start off with Katie, who will put Mobilizing Measure into play with the base note she's already got, and then she'll regenerate that base note, giving herself a move 4, as she will move onto the chest. And then before we do, I think it's before we do end of turn looting, she'll go ahead and do her end of turn effects, which in this case are Mobilizing Measure and Dissonant Rhythm. Mobilizing Measure, no limit on the range there. She's just going to target the closest ally. That's going to be Katie. So Katie will go ahead, take her 2 movement, continuing to be a slowpoke, go right in the middle of those 3 enemies. And then Dissonant Rhythm, again, not a ranged attack, so no disadvantage. Does mean I'm going to take Retaliate. That's okay. Going to go ahead. Actually, no, I'm not, because I'm going to be able to push it away. So yeah, we'll go ahead and do that attack. The Power Ballad will make it a 3 attack. And this is going to be times 2. 6 damage. Maybe I can kill that thing. No, I don't know how else I'm going to do damage to it. But good enough. Checking out the chest, 15 gold. Next up is the Brain, and he is going to use his 5 movement and his newfound flight to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right onto the chest, which we'll check out at the end of his turn. But first, time for some Blistering Buboes. Keeping in mind that everybody is going to take more damage from Rot Maggots, so what I'm going to do, I do want to kill that Night Demon. I've had enough of him, so I'm going to do 4 damage to the Night Demon, taking him out. Then 3 damage to the Wind Demon, which he'll take 1 more at the end of the turn, so that's going to take him out. Then I will do 2 damage to the Earth Elemental, and he'll take 1 more, which will knock him down to 10. Then 1 damage to the boss, who is already dead, actually, so it doesn't even matter, as it takes 4 damage. As each of those die, this guy's going to die as well at the end of the round. So, yeah. Didn't quite clear the board, but pretty close. On top of all that, he'll gain 2 XP for blistering buboes and another one for the tick down on rot maggots. And very much fulfilling the goal of the recluse, as he is as far as he could possibly be from his allies. Opening up that chest, he finds 20 gold, so he picked the better one. Now Katie's up, and she's looking around, and where did everybody go? Just her and the Earth Demon, and old habits die hard, as she is going to put out a marker on this guy with the black card, so that's going to be +1 damage. It only affects her, but it does at least give her a chance to take this thing out. She's going to do a 4 attack. I guess she was there anyway. +1 from the power ballad is 5. An additional +1 from the black card. So here comes a 6 attack. And that is going to be just a +1. Bring it down to 3. Unfortunately, I was not able to kill it. But then she'll just finish things off. She'll go ahead and loot and pick up a couple of coins. Not nearly as much gold as the others grabbed, but at least something. And finishing things out, the Earth Demon will go ahead and do its hasty 3 attack, which is going to be a +1. She'll use her chainmail to reduce that. Just take 3 damage. Why should she take damage? She'll lose a card, take no damage. And finally, the Frost Demon doing a ranged attack. It will consume the frost, so it is going to be a 6 attack against Rita, which is going to be 6 damage, and she has plenty of cards to lose as well, so she'll lose a card, take no damage. That's going to do it. Well, this one, not as dramatic when the Bruiser had his forced retirement, but it's been quite the adventure for Rita, so I think I will go ahead and read this. You strike down the Convergence and are immediately blown backwards by an exploding vortex of elemental energy. You pick yourself off the ground to face the remaining demons, only to see them turn and run. Their movements are frantic, panicked. You've slain many demons, but you've never seen them act like this. They almost seem afraid. In a moment of hubris, you think they fear you. I mean, they probably should. Until a blue-white beam of frost shoots out of the vortex left behind by the Chaos Demon. It strikes one of the fleeing demons, instantly freezing it. The demon-turned ice statue topples over, shattering to pieces. Before you can react, a jet of flame narrowly misses you. Maybe the demons have the right idea. You turn and run, scrambling up a mountain of fallen debris and barely making out of the cavern before the elemental chaos causes the entire cave to collapse. Safely outside, you sit quietly on a rock, focusing your mind and listening inward. You sense nothing. Silence. Stillness. For the first time in as long as you can remember, you are at peace. And so, Rita's story, at least for now, the storyteller has come to an end, as she will retire in the next city phase. We will unlock the Triangle class. I'll do all that next session. Just going to close out this video by taking a look at where everybody ended up. No scenario rewards, that pretty much covered by the chests. We will start with Rita, who picked up just the 15 gold. She did get enough XP to level up, so maybe just for fun, I'll level her up before she retires. You can do that. Sell off her items, see what she can do in terms of getting an enhancement. But for herself this time. But that's going to do it for her. Did not complete her battle goal. She never even took a long rest. The Harrower Plague Herald picked up a total of 24 gold, so he's up to 69. Nice. Not quite at that 100 he needs, but well, I could potentially sell items off, or we'll see how the city event goes. XP, he's on his way, not quite there, to another level, about halfway there. Again, he picked up 26 XP, 12 for the scenario, 8 for Rita's ability. I'm going to miss that, not having that one anymore, but that is going to do it for him. And finally, we've got Katie, the Sunkeeper, who did not do too bad. She picked up 16 gold just from the 4 loot tokens, but higher difficulty, in theory, higher rewards. She also got 26 XP, which is going to be enough to boost her up to level 3, and the double check mark from her battle goal, so she is also going to get a perk from there. So a couple of perks incoming, and that is going to do it for her. Oh, I should also mention, in terms of personal goals, this was considered a side scenario, so that'll count towards her personal goal, and the brain is now 9 of 10, as he did manage to be at half health or less and not exhaust. Hi, it's me. I'm back, although I guess you haven't finished watching this video yet, but I am recording this after having finished going through the editing, realizing that on the off chance that somebody is looking at which characters are revealed in each of these videos, not wanting to see any spoilers, this video also being relatively shorter than the others, I'm just going to go through and take care of the Soothsinger's retirement now. So just kind of jumping ahead to the city phase. I did the city event, didn't impact her. So you can see from the totals here, the first thing, just for fun, I am going to level up. For her perk, I would just take the 3rd copy of the card that lets me give an attack or movement. For her level up card, the level 7s are Inspiring Anthem or Wistful Wounding. This one, a pretty easy choice. I actually really like Wistful Wounding as an alternative 1-cost song that you could get into play early. But given the focus with this particular character of her and Steely Dan and being able to give attacks to allies, that's the card I would go with. Both are really good. The attack 5 on the bottom, always good to have an extra bottom attack, and also the top ability, letting them move in. And the really nice thing about this card is there's no range limitation. So if a character falls behind, they need to catch up, or you want to send somebody ahead, you can do that. Speaking of range limitations, let's talk about enhancements. After selling off all her items, including the power core, which I guess I could buy back if I really wanted Steely Dan, she ended up with quite a bit of gold. Of course, I donated 10 to the Great Oak. She doesn't gain that benefit, but I do get to do another tick off there. And so I was able to afford a couple of enhancements. The first one, for 30 gold, able to up the range on call to action. You saw it just earlier this game. I frequently am just out of range. I want to be able to use it at somebody who's a little bit farther away. So bump up the range there to range 4. So if and when I play the Soothsinger again, that'll be a nice boon. And then for the other one, I decided to bump up the damage on Echoing Aria. This is a card that I use a lot, and I almost always use it for the bottom ability. I think in all the games I play with Rita, I played it for the top ability once. I bring it with me almost all the time just for the loot, for the bottom note generation. And what I've noticed happens a couple of times, this is I'll end up combining this with a card like Thrilling Solo. So being able potentially to then get the extra attack and also have it do more damage. So for a variety of reasons, I think this will be a really good upgrade. I should say the one other thing, I didn't have to do it the last 2 times. The last 2 characters that retired had their own instructions for what to do on retirement. But of course, don't forget that when you do retire, to look at the back of the character board. It's going to tell you which road and or city events to add into the deck. I went ahead and took care of that. Farewell, Rita. You served us well, but next video you will get to see her replacement. And that is going to do it. This was really interesting. I mean, it's a very cool scenario. It's a very cool design. When I was looking at the setup, I thought, oh geez, am I going to make this too hard playing this at difficulty level 4? We'll give it a shot. 7 rounds. I potentially could have done it earlier if I had really gone all out. Wild. This crew is really effective. I'm going to miss Rita, but I'm looking forward to seeing what comes next. This timing worked out really well for me, as it is about an hour until first pitch. let's go Mets. Of course, by the time I post this video and you see it, the season will be in full swing. Hopefully they'll be doing well, at least as well as the Gloomaniacs, who are rolling on. Again, thank you for everyone who's getting to this point, watching this video. Please give me a thumbs up, give me some comments, let me know what you're thinking. If you have any thoughts, if you want to say any final words for Rita the Soothsinger before she heads off. Either way, as always, until next time, and thanks for watching.